They say the world's first rocket-powered torpedo appeared about 1,000 years ago. It would skim across the surface of the water and explode on impact. To test whether that story was true, Adam dug up some historical records. The old description showed a pear-shaped device with 2 fins at the rear, propelled by a black powder rocket. Adam and Jimmy each built a torpedo with a different shape. The winner's design would be used in the final trial. Both were handcrafted from copper. Adam's had a flat bottom, while Jimmy's had a V-shaped hull. They headed to a pool to run initial tests and mounted a small rocket on the tail that produced about 5.9 pounds of thrust. Adam's prototype went first. Once the rocket ignited, it kept pulling to the right. Clearly, the shape needed tweaking. Jimmy's model was next, and the results surprised them. It actually dove into the water and behaved like a genuine torpedo. After adjusting the tail fins, it finally skimmed straight across the surface as intended. They chose Jimmy's design for a full-size build. For the full-size versions, they used steel plates, formed into curved hulls with high-pressure water, and welded the parts in place. They produced 4 large torpedoes that way. To make thrust easier to control, they switched from black powder to modern rockets that could produce up to 1,000 pounds of thrust. They positioned a wooden boat 800 feet offshore and began the test. On ignition, the first full-size torpedo shot out of the water and careened wildly through the air, completely out of control, until the rocket burned out and it plunged back into the water. Jimmy blamed too much thrust. They cut the next rocket down to 330 pounds, but that was still excessive. The torpedo couldn't run smoothly on the surface and darted around like a crazed rodent. Letting the torpedo steer itself clearly wasn't working, so they installed a guide rail between the shore and the target boat to force it along a set path. Adam prepared 2 clay jars packed with explosives that would detonate on impact and started the 3rd round. Even with the guide rail, 1 torpedo still went haywire. Adam then moved the boat in to 200 feet and tightened the rail. That torpedo skimmed past the boat, snapped free of the cable, and finally came to rest on a hillside to the west. Only 1 torpedo remained. Hoping for success, they halved the rocket thrust again to 150 pounds. This time, it traveled slowly and steadily along the guide rail. On impact, the ceramic jar detonated and the wooden boat caught fire. If you can control the speed, the legend actually looks quite plausible.